Day 3, it's Saturday as the crowd applauds wildly. Get your lightsabers up, everyone, and please welcome to the Megacon 2024 stage. Let's hear it for Ewan McGregor.
Are there any young kids? Yes! Young kids are the best. Hi guys, nice to be here. So happy to be here with you today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And let's give it up. They're going to escort off the stage. Let's hear it for your local Rebel Legion, everybody. You guys can exit off. Thanks. We appreciate you being here. All right, Ewan, thank you so much for being here. We have a sold-out packed house, 26+100 people out there that are here to see you. Yeah, let's make some noise, Megacon. It is a double Jedi feature. So we're going to talk to you for 40 minutes,
okay.
And then we're going to bring on someone else that we know that is a famous Jedi. But let's kick things off.
My brother.
Your brother.
My brother got a little lost in his way there. He wouldn't listen to me. Didn't take orders.
If only he'd listen. If only he'd listen. We are obviously here in Orlando. If you're a local from Orlando or Florida, make some noise right now. If you traveled from outstate, you're from a different state or different country, make some noise. You were here for this.
Yeah, I traveled from another state. Another state of mind, I think.
Where were you before this? Were you?
I was in Scotland after Christmas for New Year, and then we went down to. I was doing this big series called A Gentleman in Moscow. Thank you. And we had to. My union, SAG, had a strike, and during this we had to stop. We could almost finished it, but we hadn't quite. So I went to Scotland just after Christmas. I spent New Year in Scotland, which was fantastic. It's been a long time since I had we have a big Scottish New Years are fantastic. They're called Hogmanay, and it's a special sort of celebration where you say goodbye to the old year and you welcome in the new, and it's still not the same anywhere else in the world, really. And I just haven't been at home for a Hogmanay in a long, long time. So it was really nice to do that. Then we went to Manchester. This is probably too big of an answer for a simple question.
No.
And,
We're wrapped. The audience is wrapped.
we finished up Gentleman in Moscow. We had 8 days. We shot that. Went back to Scotland. Spent 10 days in Scotland. I made a nice little film with my brother. My brother Colin is 2 years older than me. And we went off and made this little film up in Scotland for a travel company called Expedia that I work with.
Yes.
And Expedia. Expedia.
Oh, God.
And we made this film. It was really fun, just the two of us knocking about the Highlands for 2 days, and they shot us in these different locations. It was very nice. And then I went to Sweden because I did a film last year called Mother Couch with a director. Thank you. Thank you very much. With a director called Nicholas Larsson, who's Swedish. And because again of the strike, I wasn't able to go with him to open that film in any of the film festivals that it was at. It was at TIFF, and I think it was in Venice, or I forget where it was, but I wasn't able to go to it. And his home film festival was in Sweden 3 nights ago, so I went to that. And then I had the flight. God, I had to get here from Gothenburg in Sweden, which is a lovely place, but it was involved it involves 3 flights via Iceland. I'm just so.
Did they take you in a loop? 3 flights from Iceland, just landing in
I was
Iceland?
just thinking, how does this work? Because I don't tend to look at the things until the last minute. So it was the night before, and I looked at the thing at my phone. I was like, Mary, we've got 3 flights tomorrow. And we had our 2-year-old with us, our 2.5-year-old son, Laurie. It's like, oh, I know he's the best. Oh my God. But I was thinking, so it just was a nightmare, you know. Who do we think? You know, every flight, like 2 hours at an airport between it, with 3 flights.
Oh my God.
The last one was 8 hours. And he was just like, nah, I'm done. I don't want to be on an airplane anymore. And I was like, join the club.
Orlando, you had suffered through 3 flights to get here just for you. Which brings me to this, so we went Scotland to Sweden to Orlando. We're in the home of Disney World and Galaxy's Edge, which is the Star Wars. I mean, who's been?
This is one in LA. Okay, this is one in LA. Mary and I went the night of. When was it? The night before? No, I think they'd opened. It was when the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan Canary? That's the spin-off you don't know about. That's his cousin. Obi-Wan Canary. On his mission to Tutawan.
He has like a little bird that he's the story of the bird.
That's right. Laser sword. What was I saying? So we'd gone to Anaheim to the celebration where they showed the first couple of episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Some of you might be there. Woo! It was fantastic. It was so exciting to be amongst all the people and see it on the big screen. And then the next day, it was the first time I'd done a Comic-Con. I had never done one before. And I just thought, well, I'm in Anaheim and it was a celebration. I thought, I'm going to do it and see what it's like. And I did it, and I realised I liked it, and that's why I'm still doing them here. So, because it's awful nice to meet you. That's really nice. So, but that next day, we had some time, and we went to Disney. So we went. It was that night. I can't remember. We went at night, and it was just like me and Mary walking around, you know. With a cap on, and we just about got away with it. We didn't get
just in public.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I hadn't seen it before, so.
If those people knew that you were just wandering around,
I caught a couple of people's eye, you know, when I was there.
You're talking about going to conventions. Obviously, you're meeting a ton of people. Orlando, there's a ton of not only Star Wars fans, but Star Wars collectors, right? They collect lightsabers and different items from the movies, both real and fabricated by artists and artisans. What's the most unique thing that you've done this weekend? Has something stood out to you in terms of a prop or an item or a fan experience?
Exactly. There's an awful lot of nice fan arts that we see while we're signing or while we're taking photographs of people. There's some nice, there's always nice, I just like when young people have done drawings, you know, and I always like to try and I always encourage them to keep going, you know, and because it is such that side of our nature is often the one that gets sort of trampled down first, you know, when our trying to get through school and college and into jobs is that childish desire to just put a pen to paper and make a drawing. I think is really nice to hold on to that. In whatever other way, it might be playing music or whatever it be. I like that.
I love that. Yeah, there's so much good fan art out there.
Yeah. I almost sent out for a bomber jacket today though, because Hayden was wearing a nice Star Wars bomber jacket, and it was so cold where we were. It was just so cold. We stopped for lunch. I was almost about to send it because I don't know that I can walk out and get one. Maybe I should.
I don't recommend you just walking out to get one.
I don't see any jackets.
You're lucky, it's cold in there. There was so many people here today. We were feeling the heat in the building. It was nice, but we had so many fans here for all different genres. You mentioned screening the Obi-Wan series, the first couple episodes. What was it like? I know you've answered this question a bunch, but maybe not for folks here live. Just talk a little bit about returning to the character of Obi-Wan in the Obi-Wan series. Yeah.
Well, I was lucky to see it. I was lucky to see it first. Alone, because I was a producer on the show too.
Sure.
And so by the time Deborah finished them, I went down to see the first three.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down to in the studio where we shot the series. I met Deborah and she sat me in this little screening room and then pressed play and left, So I just watched 1, 2, and 3 alone. And it was awesome to see. I mean, it was just incredible to see, but because I was so thrilled with her work. She's so talented, Deborah Chow, our director.
Yeah, let's give it up for Deborah.
She directed them all. It wasn't usually in television series. There'll be a director will maybe direct the first 1 or 2 maybe to sort of set the tone. And then often that's it, and then other directors come in, but I'm so thrilled that I wanted to have just one person's vision, and my God, she's so brilliant. She knows the world inside out. She's always telling me what was what about, like things that I was supposed to know about the world, she's keeping me right.
That's funny, was there something that you kind of came back to, or that you forgot?
All the time.
Names of planets, names of droids.
Yeah, and names of everything. No, she was brilliant. And but when I watched the last 3, I did the same. So I went away, they weren't quite finished, I watched the first 3. And then I came back some weeks later and again sat alone, but I was like, the 6th one really got me, I was just sitting there with tears rolling down my face watching it. I was so touched by it.
Oh, and so were we.
Yes, please. So happy to be that we managed to do it, and also that we did it like that. Like I feel like we could have, there's always it was originally going to be a movie, and I've often thought, well, should it have been a movie, but I kind of think it's great that we did it that way, and it's a longer story, and hopefully it's more satisfying as a result.
Mm-hmm.
We got more screen, more time to weave a story. So we can do another one. Can everyone write to Disney? I'll give you some email addresses at the end. You'll say, Dear Disney, let's have a bit more of Obi-Wan Kenobi, please.
Dear Disney at Disney.com.
I think Disney America, they should find them.
Yeah. Talk about coming back. We are about to bring, as you just said, your brother, Anakin Skywalker on stage. Both like seeing him back on set for the first time, the first show.
Well, it's amazing. It was amazing because you can't imagine. We were very close when we shot the prequels.
Sure.
I mean, I'd done the first one, which Hayden, of course, wasn't in, and then we shot the first one in London. And then they moved the whole shoot to Australia, where we shot the second one and the third one. And so Hayden arrived, and I just was so impressed with him right off the bat. He was such a serious young actor, and he just had so much thought about it. And he talked about it in a deep way, like he was really trying to mine it for everything that he could get out of it as an actor. And I really admired that about him. And we were shooting away, I didn't live in Australia, and I lived in He, so we spent a lot of time together. And we would just have this, and we spent a lot of time learning these fights, and then we had that relationship on screen, the sort of brother, what's the fancy word for brother? Fraternal? No, that's father.
Oh, fraternity.
Fraternal relationship.
Yeah, Fraternal, yeah, fraternal. Yeah. Three flights.
Three flights, everybody. Brotherly relationship. And yeah, I just love him to bits. And then we didn't see each other for a long time. So when I knew that we were going to be doing this series, and I met him by chance during the lockdown. I met him somewhere, and I was able to say, "Look, I think we're going to do a series of Obi-Wan." And at that point, we didn't know exactly what the story was. I had no idea if we were going to. So I wasn't able to say, you know, I want you to be in it or anything like that. It's because I didn't know yet what the story was going to go. And but then when I did know that we were going to ask him to do it, oh God! And then when we got on set, I mean, I've never seen so many people on a film set in my life. On set, I was like, there's a lot of people on this film set today. What's going on? And then I turned around and Eddie's coming on. I'm like, I see, because everybody was there to see him.
Yeah.
And it was
both of you. They were here.
No, but it was kind of, and the first thing we did, I think I'm right in saying the first thing we shot was the flashback sequence for in episode 4. And so we were also like, we looked like we did in, I mean, we had dots all over our faces. Maybe do a little bit of help making us younger. But apart from that, we were in the old costume, you know, and then we were doing that fight that was just great. So yeah, it was an amazing experience. And it was like, what I love about shooting it also was that when the crew for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series were real fans, you know, like an awful lot of people that work in Star Wars now are fans, you know, and that wasn't the case before when we made the prequels, but I love that. So there was like a real buzz whenever we were together.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. You mentioned being a producer on the series. Obviously, you've gotten. You don't only act now. You produce, you direct. American Pastoral, a film that you direct recently. Make some noise for that.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you very much.
Yeah, obviously a lot of fans out there. What was that like transitioning to directing? Is it something that you found new challenges with, and is it something you would continue to pursue?
I'd love to do it more. I mean, it was a really big learning curve in everything other than the actual shoot.
Sure.
Because the actual shoot, I've been doing this for a long time, and the idea of being a director just means I get to do it the way I know that I love to do it best myself as an actor. And so I was totally, that bit of it was just absolutely brilliant. I loved working with the actors. I was lucky to have brilliant actors to work with. Had good writing, great design, good costumes. You know, everything about it was good. The stuff I didn't know about was all the pre-production and all the post-production, and that was something that I had to learn on the job. But I realized that it's all just taste, and you have to have courage to allow the worst kind of directors, the ones that don't want to relinquish their power to decide everything. You know, it's just not how it works. It's not you're not making a painting, you're making a movie, and that is a collaboration. And the best directors are the ones who stand in the middle of all the talent that they've pulled around them to make a film and allow those people to work the best they can. Sure. And that takes a bit of courage. But that's what I tried to do, and that's what I thought I would do in the post-production as well. Editing is very much taste, you know? It's like, you can't really put your finger on it, but it's just taste. It's like, you just cut here. You're like, I can't really explain why, but... and I loved it very much, and I love the film we made. I just haven't, there's been lots going on in my life since I made that film, which has sort of stopped me from finding another film to direct, but that's definitely what I'd like to do. I'd like to direct more, and I just, you know, it's a funny time in movies, and it's just finding the right story ultimately. I think that you can worry too much about where you're making it for. Is it going to be on? Oh, that's a shame you're putting around that speaker. That's not much fun, is it? Sorry. I feel like we should move over there so that they can. Sorry. Oh, we're up there. Okay, you're fine. Yeah, idiot. I didn't know that was there. You're fine. I'm starting looking up there anyway. I hope.
Don't forget to stand up and say hello to those folks on that side.
Sorry for you, Joe.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Sorry, you got the safety of the distance.
That's very nice.
Yeah. What was I saying?
Some looking for upcoming projects.
Yeah.
What's
I think
next?
the story, I've sort of realised, because I've spent a lot of time worrying, like, well, where do you know, the kind of movies that I would want to make, people sort of don't go to the cinema to see them anymore. You know,
Sure.
cinemas become blockbustery, and horror films are always quite well received in the cinema, and then big superhero films and such. You know, the films that I would want to direct about people and are not much gone to, so they happen on television, and I was thinking, well, is that? And I just suddenly thought, well, you just got to find a story you want to tell and tell that story. And it doesn't really matter where it's seen. But yeah, that's my thought about that.
It's amazing. Well, we can't wait to see
What it is, me too.
Yeah.
Office on the push gun.
Yeah, let's hear it. You're so generous to your fans, obviously being at conventions, which is a huge place for fans of the Star Wars genre to meet, right, and hang out together. You were so nice to have folks here. So we have some fan questions that were submitted online. We reached out to a bunch of fan groups and folks that are here in the audience. So I'm going to shout out some names, and if you hear yourself, I will say I stole your question, Peter McLean. Peter McLean, are you here somewhere? Make some noise. There they are. There they are. From Newfoundland, Canada. Asked a question about returning to Obi-Wan, so thank you. Thank you for that. Let's go to the next one. From Michael Bigelow from Palm Beach, Florida. Michael Bigelow, you out there? They're being very quiet.
He's very good.
You can give a whoop, you can go whoop whoop or whatever, yeah. Thank you for your question. For the duel on Mustafar in Revenge of the Sith, who obtained the worst injury during the rigorous choreography, or did anyone?
We always got our knuckles hit smacked.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just par for the course with that kind of thing. But what's interesting is the sort of, we could talk about it, but how the swords have evolved.
For sure.
And when we made the prequels, we had a guy who had like a card. He had like what?
Somebody named Thomas.
Thomas.
Is it
Yeah.
Thomas?
Thomas, the lightsaber maker. Is he here? Thomas? Are you here?
Thomas is in the bathroom. Somebody get him. No.
I was going on to say Thomas, obviously, had his cards, and we had these. They were made of some sort of alloy. They were metal.
For sure.
And they would bend after every single take. And when Hayden and I were fighting each other, often didn't make it through the take because we just went at each other so hard. And that they've changed now. So now they have actual swords that light up, which is what gave us those amazing lighting changes in that end scene in the series. By chance, as we were rehearsing the scene, you know, we had our swords here, and his face was blue, and we were blue. Someone get that for me. And then as we moved over here, our faces turned red, and it was just like magic, you know, like, oh my God. So but they don't fight as well as the old ones do. They have a tendency to sort of go, sort of like, This isn't quite as satisfying as when they used to. But we would always catch each other's fingers because they don't have George, in his wisdom, decided not to give them a hilt. Most sword designers in the world, you know, throughout history, have put a hilt there so that you don't get your knuckles wrapped. But anyway, and then that's what
And then Kylo Ren decides his hilt is a lightsaber, which is completely ridiculous.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, he's got all the protection he needs, right? Look at that. Is that too much to ask for? Thank you. What's the next question?
That was it, yeah. All right, this one is from Cyril Baranowski from Orlando, Florida. What's up, Cyril? Here we go.
friend of Thomas's.
Everybody knows Thomas. We talked a little bit about just the excitement about returning to the role on your first day. Were there any challenges, to quote their question, returning to the role of Obi-Wan after so long, after so many years?
Yeah, I mean, the first one was the accent. Like I went to do some castings with Deborah, and we read with several different actors for some of the roles, and it was months before we started the shoot, but I went down, we did it on the set of the Mandalorian set on a Sunday when they weren't working, so we had a bit of a set there, and I went down there on a Sunday morning and I was taken to the dressing room and there was like Obi-Wan's clothes hanging up, like, so I guess not my old costume, but it certainly looked like some of it could have been. And so somebody was putting all this costume back on again, looking in the mirror, wow, it's been like a long time.
Yeah.
It sort of hit me in a way, I thought, oh, what was I about to do? And then I went on set and I hadn't really given it much thought. I just thought, well, it'll be all right. And I got on set and it was just not, these poor little actors who were reading for all these other roles, and I was just like trying to do the Obi-Wan. Trying to do Obi-Wan. It was just coming out like some posh English guy, and nothing at all like Obi-Wan or Alec Guinness. And so that was the first challenge. Was like, oh, I see. I've got to remind myself, and that's what I always did in the prequels. I just sort of watched Alec Guinness all the time, and not only just in Star Wars, but in all his early films. And now I was a bit older, I got to watch him in some of his older films. He wanted to just try. I always has to try. I don't try and do an impersonation of Alec Guinness at all, but it has to feel like him to me.
Yeah.
And often that's when I know that I'm happy to move on with a take. If it starts feeling like Alec.
Yeah, shout out to Sir Alec Guinness, obviously the great. And you did an amazing job of transitioning Margot Marcano from East Brunswick, New Jersey. Margot, are you out there? Yeah, what's up, Margot? Asked what aspects of the original trilogy inspired your characters. So you spoke on it. Was it voice? Was it physicality? Was it everything with Alec?
Yeah, all of it. I mean, there's just something so iconic about his performance. Oh my God, it's like he's over there. You see, just for a moment, a man walked. There's an Obi-Wan Kenobi in the hallway.
Yeah,
he just walked into the light.
In our
Sorry, Alec. I'm sorry. I tried my best. Oh, that was really. Did you see it?
That was a Force Ghost. Now he's gone completely. So that's even crazier. Force Ghost Alec Guinness just joined us, everybody. Here.
Yeah, I see him over there now. I know we're in trouble. And it's all of it. I just want, it's his rhythm and it's his humor. And there's something, this little eye roll that he does. And I soaked it all up.
Yeah, I love it. We have one final question, and we have a fun little game we're going to end with you. This comes from Ashley from Florida. Ashley? Could be a bunch of Ashleys from Florida. Let's talk about after Star Wars. You shoot the prequels, you move on to some of our favorite movie musicals or movies with musicals in their musical moments. Moulin Rouge. Down the Club. Beauty and the Beast, the live action. So Ashley, what is that like for you? Like, what was the transition as an actor into a musical movie or a movie with songs and music?
I've always sung. I've always been musical. Through school, I was only interested in. Exactly. I was only interested in perform. Anything that felt like perform. I always knew I wanted to be an actor, and so I found it difficult to be interested in academics. I should have been, but I wasn't. And so music was a way for me through school to sort of perform, I suppose. So I sang, and it was really from a young age. I was a soloist in the choir. Christmas carols and stuff. I did once in Royal David City when I was like 6 in a church. I was like, one single terrifying. I still remember the fear. And then so that, and then there was a side drummer in the pipe band. There was a French horn player. Just anything that allowed me to sort of do music. So to then do the musicals was like taking that on. It was just we had great. Singing coach on Moulin Rouge, and I loved it. I loved recording. We worked with music producer Marius de Vries, and we just recorded loads and loads of songs that didn't make it into the show, but we just kept recording different. I suggested we do for the end after Satine died. I suggested we record "I Can't Live If Living Is Without You." Hanging in someone.
Oh gosh,
it was a bit too on the nose.
Yeah.
But we recorded it nonetheless.
Oh wow!
It's simple. And I love that process of recording music. I love it. So to do the musical was just a joy, really. But the nice thing was we pre-recorded all the music, so we spent 2-3 months with bands in Australia rehearsing, and then we during that time it was like being at drama school. On a Monday morning you'd have 3 hours with Marius, and on a Tuesday afternoon you'd be in the dance hall, and and then we'd be rehearsing the scenes, and so we pre-recorded all the songs, and then when we shot with them, because for editing it has to keep the same beat. It's always best to sort of record to playback, so you've got the music playing on set and you're singing along with it, if you like. And then we had the ability there was a little, I don't think Thomas was involved, but we had a little sort of trolley that was it was like a sort of
Thomas is going to see this on Thomas one day and be like, finally, the respect and reserve.
He may have been involved in this, I don't know. But it was like a telephone box on wheels with a door and a microphone in it, and you could go, and it was wheels from set to set. And if when you were shooting a scene, like the tango scene or something like that, and something didn't feel quite right, you could nip into the telephone box and re-record that bit. And within minutes, they would have that laid into the playback. So you could then, and then also you could re-record it afterwards, where they cut it, if something. So you were able to do the singing before, during, and after, basically, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, I think that's why that movie stands up. And so you feel like you're watching a true musical on stage in film format.
Yes, I loved it so much. I loved it. I'll never forget some of those memories of, like the tango, walking through the dance, walking down through the set with the tango dances, like, oh my goodness. This makes me
feel chills out there. Yeah.
Amazing.
All right, are we ready for a little game?
Yeah, my daughter Esther is filming she's playing Nicole Kidman's daughter in a movie right now.
What?
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Maybe no one's meant to know that.
Yeah.
I should have checked before I just announced that to the world. Proud dad moment, sorry.
All right, we appreciate your time on stage. Thank you for answering those fan questions.
Thank you.
We asked all of the fans in this room before the panel 8 questions. People are already just, about Star Wars things. Now, there's no wrong answer. We're going to ask you to pick between 2 things. You're not trying to guess how the audience guessed. It's just you, Ewan McGregor. How would you feel?
I will be judged.
You won't be judged.
By any of these people.
No. Who's going to be judged? No, come on, give it up. Yeah. All right, so let's pop it up there. We've got question number 1. You can see over there or look up, or I'll just read it to you. Where would you rather live, Cloud City or Naboo? Cloud City.
Well, I think Cloud City is probably going to be more interesting.
I think it's going. To the audience. Yes, there we go. Cloud City wins 74 No, Naboo won. So sorry, Naboo won. That's just the audience.
Flip them though.
They did do a weird thing. It puts the top one on the top. Who would you rather train under, Yoda or Obi-Wan Kenobi? We'll move on to number 3. All right, number 3. You want to see how the audience voted? Yeah.
Well, I should say Yoda to be polite.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Because otherwise it'd just be me in a room on my own.
It's a good point. It's a good point. 71% picked Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right, number 3, who would you rather invite to your birthday party, C-3PO or R2-D2? This is your birthday party.
C-3PO, because it's much more fun.
Yeah.
It's just more fun to watch, like, trying to get around. There's always someone at your birthday party that's a bit drunk and falling over. That would totally be it.
Yeah. And R2-1. R2-1 there with the audience.
So far, I'm totally going against it.
All right, number 4. What would you rather fly, an X-Wing or a TIE Fighter?
X-Wing.
Yeah.
It's a far superior.
That's where you win, is everybody. That's what happens there. All right, number 5. Would you rather be skilled with a lightsaber or skilled with the Force, so you lose one ability?
That's not a choice. That's the same thing.
Very nice. We have a few more, a couple more. Would you rather kiss a Wookiee or kiss a Gungan?
I think as a Jedi, you're sort of, you're not meant to kiss anyone.
Oh. That's also the correct answer.
I don't think that's allowed.
2 for 2, 2 for 2. All right, here we go, number 7. Who has the better hair, Obi-Wan or Anakin?
Oh, well, it depends what episode you're talking about. I think we all know in episode 2. That's
there, but we had, it was close. It was 58 for Anakin, 41 for Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see how Hayden answers in a bit. And last one. Anyway. Join the rebellion or join the Empire.
What?
Yeah. Join the rebellion or join the Empire. It was you.
If it was me?
Yeah.
Well, again, I'd have the rebellion, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm Obi-Wan, I'd like to join in the...
Oh no. Uh-oh, what's happening here? Looks like it was coming out. Oh my gosh, we're about to turn it into everybody, we're going to say goodbye to everybody. It was a pleasure to be on stage.
Hello, everyone. This is like a proper.
This is a proper theater. Yeah. We have 2,600 plus, and they were standing room only just here for you and Ewan. Let's hear it for Hayden Christensen.
Thank you so much. Ewan and I were backstage earlier talking about just how nice this event has been and how much we've enjoyed getting to meet so many of you. So this has been really great. Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming out. We're so excited to have you. I want to say, just because he brought it up, he was very jealous of your bomber jacket that you have on here.
Yeah? I just got this sent to me not long ago, so I thought this would be a good place to sport it.
I love it. Did you, and that kind of brings up a question that we asked you, and obviously you're traveling around the world, you're meeting all these fans at these conventions. We're here in Orlando, it's a big city for Star Wars collectors, lightsabers and figurines and apparel. What's been like the most interesting thing that you've gotten recently to sign, or maybe just something out of all your signings, a prop or a replica or an apparel?
Oh, I don't know. There's signed a lot of lightsabers and Darth Vader helmets, but I just like seeing the new artwork. You see all these artists come and they do these amazing drawings, and so that's sort of what I get a kick out of.
There's a festival of arts going on right now at Epcot, you know. And there were so many great artists just with different versions of you and their takes on it, with different characters. It's so beautiful. I want to ask you, have you been to Galaxy's Edge in either Hollywood or Orlando?
Yeah.
Talk about your experience stepping into that for the first time.
Yeah, I've been a couple of times. I think it was the one in California though at Disneyland.
Sure.
I don't know that I've been to the one here yet.
Similar, pretty much a replica, just different. Yeah.
I would imagine they're similar. But yeah, I did the Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
And they do such a great job with it. I always thought it would be such a cool job to be a Disney Imagineer. You know, the people that design the parks and the rides. I think they do such amazing work.
Oh yeah, they're geniuses, and even the folks on that ride, the ride operators, they get to kind of take part in the action. It's an immersive ride.
Totally, yeah. You feel like you're in Star Wars. It's great.
I can picture there'd be a fun surprise bit, riding Resistance, and then Hayden Christensen's there. It's like the rebel. No, come on, follow me. We need to get back to the next thing.
There was like a few stormtroopers that kind of like looked at me a little long. You're supposed to be here.
Let's kick things off. As fans, we were so lucky to see you return as Anakin in the Obi-Wan series. But then we were even luckier to see you return in Ahsoka. You were touring with us last year, and I knew you had to keep it so secret. You did such an amazing job. Now that it's out there, and we know,
right.
yeah. Now that it's out there, and we know about it, what is it like getting that double reaction from fans? Just another wave of fan reactions to your appearance in Ahsoka.
I can't tell you just how amazing the whole experience has been for me. You know, coming back on Obi-Wan was incredible. Getting to swing a lightsaber with Ewan again was just a thrill. And then getting a phone call after we wrapped Obi-Wan. I wasn't aware of any other projects that I would be involved with.
Sure.
After we wrapped, I got a phone call from Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. And I was just so excited again. Any chance I get to put on those Jedi robes, I'll take it.
Obviously in Obi-Wan we had the Jedi robes from the flashback. We had the suit of Darth with the battle. And then in Ahsoka we get the battle outfit. The Clone Wars.
I was just, I don't know, so excited to get to portray that version of the character.
Yeah.
When I had that call with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they were sort of walking me through mostly what was going to be in episode 5. And, when he started talking about the world between worlds, and we're going to go on this sort of journey through Ahsoka's memories, and that we're going to get to revisit the Clone Wars. I just thought, I was just so excited about the whole thing.
People have said that that episode 5, Shadow Warrior, is some of the best Star Wars they've ever seen. In terms of just the feeling of it, like you felt like you were in the world, and also was bringing everything together all at once. Talk about the reaction to that specific episode that you were in, and just how it's really brought fans together from all the different series.
Yeah, I mean, the episode is a really great one. And what Dave Filoni accomplished is really remarkable. Sort of the context of it and the way it sort of informs Ahsoka's journey. It's really clever storytelling. But the response has been really nice. I get people coming up to me on the streets just sort of saying like, Ahsoka episode 5. I know, me too. But yeah, all of the praise should be directed towards Dave Filoni.
Oh my God.
That's
Specifically, the shot that I think gave everyone chills and was like, oh, is the quick transition from Anakin's back to Vader. Did you talk about that scene? You know, shooting it and then kind of seeing it with post after post.
Yeah, I take no credit because all I did is I showed up. I walked. That's all that was required from me. And the way that they shot that and they cut it together. I just thought that the whole episode came out, better than I could have hoped.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of people also praise you for your integration of some of the mannerisms of Matt Manfred, you're the voice actor. Give it up for Matt. It felt like a seamless, again, a merging of two amazing performances, yours from the prequels and Matt's from the show. Did you listen to any of that? Did you study any of that, or did it sort of just come natural just as you were progressing?
I don't know. I've been watching a lot of Clone Wars, so I think it's a process of osmosis. It kind of made its way in. No, it's a period in Anakin's life that I was aware of. I thought was very interesting, and obviously they explored it a lot in the Clone Wars, in the animated show that they did. But the opportunity to get to do that in live action was so compelling, and I wanted to bring it to life in the most sort of exciting way possible, and follow Dave's lead, and just sort of bring to life what was on the page, because it was all there in the script.
You talked about, you shouted out Dave a bunch of times, rightfully so and respectfully so, and you said following his lead. How do you enjoy, or what do you enjoy most about working with brilliant directors like that? Like, how does your director-actor dynamic work for you? And specifically with Dave.
Yeah, working with Dave Filoni was one of the best experiences I've had as an actor in terms of that director-actor relationship.
Sure.
And I think a part of me just really enjoys working with writer-directors, because there's a little bit more clarity there, and you can kind of trust the script a little bit more. It's a more accurate roadmap. When you have a director working off of someone else's material, there's interpretation. You always have to sort of wonder if their interpretations are aligned. But obviously Dave knows Star Wars so well, and he knows his characters so well. He probably spent more time than I did working on Anakin and developing Anakin with George Lucas, and so there was just an immense amount of trust, and I knew he had a really exciting vision for it, and just his way of being a leader on set. He really inspires everyone around him. The way he speaks about Star Wars is so insightful. I remember when I was getting ready to do Obi-Wan, I was sort of doing a deep dive on the internet, just kind of looking for all of the information I found interesting, and I came across this video of Dave talking about the sort of the meaning behind the Duel of the Fates, sorry. And it was just so, I've never heard it sort of put that way before. It was just, so smart and insightful. And he just naturally is like that, so it was a real joy to get to work with him and to see him, sort of inspire everyone on set. It was great.
That's awesome. You mentioned doing some research so that you were ready when you got on set. Ewan joked that he was like, oh my gosh, I don't remember the planets, I need to remember the droid names. Were you nervous coming back to it that you'd get on there and be like, whoa, I need a refresher here?
Yeah, there's always a little bit of that, but I don't know. I spent so much time with this character that it came back pretty easy. I just wanted to sort of learn about all of the new Star Wars that maybe I wasn't caught up with.
Sure.
And that was a really enjoyable process.
That's awesome. Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader is arguably the most complex character in all of Star Wars. Right? Would you agree with that? got to play it in his younger years, and then you got to come back as him as Vader in Obi-Wan, and then also back as the Clone Wars era Anakin. Did you find any challenges in portraying those sort of evolutions, both all the way forward and then coming back? Was there anything you were trying to insert in his journey to make sure the audience really followed along?
You mean in terms of the work we did in the prequels, or coming back?
I guess coming back to it after the prequels, yeah, knowing that you were kind of bridging the gap timeline-wise.
Yeah, definitely. When we were doing Obi-Wan, we did the flashback sequence, and that was kind of like old hat. We'd done that before, and so that was just good fun. Going and doing the scene as Vader, that was new territory.
Right, exactly.
And then the same is true of Ahsoka. Playing the sort of wise mentor was a version we'd never sort of seen before.
Yeah.
And getting to do that, and then sort of try to bring to life the Clone Wars Anakin. It's a balancing act, and so even though I know the character, we're still sort of taking him in new directions, and you just hope that it resonates in a way with you guys as it did with me when I read the script.
I think it resonated. Am I right, everybody? A lot of people talk about the scene. We talk about the quick transition from your back to Vader, but I think it was the glint in the eye when you turned from evil to dark side to light side. Yeah, right. Come on, man.
Yeah. I actually didn't. That was the one part that I wasn't really sure how we were going to do that.
Yeah.
Because it was scripted as he sort of transitions back, to Anakin.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if it was going to be some special effect or what it was going to be. And so that was just sort of what came to us in the moment, and I really liked that bit too.
Oh, it's beautiful. It was a beautiful performance. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Speaking of, give it up for Hayden. Speaking of beautiful performances, not only Star Wars, we love your characters Stephen Glass and Shattered Glass. One of my all-time favorites, David Rice, Jumper. Is there, outside of your Star Wars career, is there a role or a character that you look back on that you're extremely fond of through your career?
Those are two that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
What can I tell you about those ones? Shattered Glass was a film that I did in between episode 2 and 3. And I just started a production company with my brother, and we were looking for what was going to be our first film. And he came back from a meeting with sort of a pile of material, different scripts and books and magazine articles, and there was this one article that described, Stephen Glass's misdoings in journalism. If you haven't seen the film, it's about a journalist who fabricates a good portion of the stories. And there was something about it that spoke to me, I think, because I was just sort of getting my taste of how the media can sometimes not tell the full truth.
What's breaking news?
Yeah, it was like the first quote I'd ever read of mine, and it was odd. It quoted me saying that I had burned my hand when I was using a lightsaber because the batteries got too hot. And our lightsabers back then didn't have batteries in them. It was a false statement. I was sort of surprised that sort of thing took place.
Sure.
So the messaging of the story kind of spoke to me, and that's how we got into that one. David Rice, Jumper, that was a film I wanted to do. I just really like the director, the filmmaker, Doug Liman. He's done a lot of great films. And I love the concept too, the idea of teleportation as a superpower kind of spoke to me as someone who travels a lot. And the idea of being able to just be anywhere whenever you want, I thought was a great idea. Yeah, but that was a fun one to make because we actually traveled to all the different locations around the world that are depicted in the story. So it was a fun one to get to make.
Was there one that stuck out to you, or that you were like, oh man, this is...
Locations?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when we got to film in the Colosseum in Rome, that was kind of special. And then they recreated the Colosseum in a soundstage in Toronto, where we did a lot of the filming, and we destroyed it. And that's where we got to, like, you know, make a mess of the Colosseum.
You mentioned getting this quoted. It was interesting you brought that up as a connection to Shadow Pass. I think that's super interesting. Star Wars is rife with fan fiction. That's fans writing their interpretations on things, memes, you know, like social media. Yeah, people are like, you know, all of that. Do you follow that? Do you follow along? Is there anything that like you stuck out to you, or you just keep that over there somewhere?
I don't exactly follow it because I'm not on social media.
Right.
But I have a friend of mine who thinks it's his job to send me all of the and so I'm aware of a lot of them. They make me laugh. I enjoy them.
Anyone stick out to you as kind of like?
There's a few. Off the top of my head, there's one that I quite like. In the scene where you have Sidious and Mace Windu, and Anakin's there, and he's having to choose, you know, and Palpatine is shooting Force lightning at Mace Windu, and Mace Windu is blocking it, deflecting it back, and Sidious is saying, "Help me," and Anakin says, "Just stop shooting Force lightning at me." Blocking it back to you. There's some proof of that.
Credit to whoever made that out there somewhere.
There's another good one with Anakin and Padme and Naboo. There's a few.
Yes.
Yeah, and she says, you know, you're gonna change things for the better, right?
When it came out, that one, it was just the scene, basically, and then the amount of times it's been reused for different, like, topics in the news is incredible.
Yeah, I love how creative they can get.
Yeah, it's so good, so good. And speaking of that, speaking of being, you know, in the public eye versus in the private, you know, private versus public. I was going to say the private eye, being a private eye.
I could do private eye.
Yeah. How do you find that balance? We had the honor, and I've had the honor of interviewing a bunch of times in different cities, and it's always been a joy. And some things have come up that you enjoy doing. So you're an avid farmer, or you were an avid farmer, you have a ranch. You love mowing and snow blowing, and you enjoy making lakes.
I do.
Yeah.
Ponds. I can't
Ponds.
That's maybe one day I'll graduate to lakes, but right now I'm still in ponds.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit for this crowd that hasn't heard. You know, what are your fun hobbies or activities that
I just enjoy this sort of country life, and I like big equipment, and I've got a few toys at my farm. And snowblowing is definitely one of my favorite activities. I've got this Bobcat, which is like a skid steer machine, and it has all these different attachments. And one of them is, yeah, there we go. Bobcats are the best. And there's a snowblower attachment, and I've got a nice long driveway. And when you get a really heavy snow, I mean, the thing will shoot snow like 20, 30 feet in the air, and it's just very satisfying.
I love it. Yeah, soothing.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready to go. Thank you for answering my question. We have fans submit questions online, and we picked a few that are here in the crowd now. So I'm going to shout out their name. If you hear your name, give us a little hoop and holler, and we'll get through as many as we can. All right, this is Devin from Lake Worth. Devin, you out there? Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Hayden, we loved your Actors on Actors interview. You spoke about your daughter a bit there. Talk about your daughter's relationship with Star Wars. Has she seen Star Wars yet, and how has that been?
She still hasn't seen it. So I was dragging my feet for a while, kind of wanting to hold off. But now she's 9 years old, and I feel like she's at an appropriate age where I could share it with her. And there have been a few times where I've actually offered it up, and I've said, sweetheart, would you like to, watch Star Wars? And we're sitting down to watch something, and there's always something else that she's more interested in. So we're watching a lot of this show called Liv and Maddie right now. Let's watch Liv and Maddie, please.
There is a Young Jedi Adventure, so that isn't maybe a bad entry point.
That would be a good one. I agree.
Yeah, but still just nothing, huh?
No, not yet. But I'm hoping soon. Yeah, I'm waiting on her.
I love it. All right, this is Jade from Tampa. Jade. Yeah, there we go. This is interesting. Going back to the original prequels, did you talk about the audition process? Specifically, the question is, did you audition for any other roles besides Anakin? Or was it just Anakin all the way?
No, but I wanted to.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, when I heard that they were auditioning for Anakin Skywalker, I thought that's really cool, but there's no way I'm ever gonna get that. And I asked my agent at the time, are there any other roles, smaller roles that they're casting right now that I could be in consideration for? And there was not. And so I threw my name in the hat for Anakin. And it was a very long auditioning process. It went on for a few months, and I don't know, all throughout that process, I never in a million years thought that I was going to get the role.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped me because I was just able to enjoy it a little bit more, and I remember going to meet George Lucas for the first time at the Skywalker Ranch, and I was just so excited to get to be there. With no concept of maybe getting this role, but just hopefully that I would get like a souvenir or like a free mug or something.
You grab something, put it on.
Yeah.
What was oh my God, not many people get to just step onto the Skywalker. What was the first thing that you saw, like Star Wars related, that at that ranch that was like, oh my gosh?
There's a Yoda fountain.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember seeing that for the first time. It's like, ooh, this is where they do Star Wars. But yeah, it's Star Wars everywhere. It's a pretty remarkable place.
It's funny that you say that you weren't. Was it that you weren't interested in that character and was hoping for something different? When you say you didn't initially put in for Anakin,
It just seemed like too big of a role. I was 18 at the time when I first started auditioning for it, and I was working on a TV show in Canada. And just the idea of playing sort of the central role in Star Wars, it seemed too big. It's not that I didn't want it. Of course, I was over the moon when I got the role. But yeah, my point being is just that I think when you don't take things too seriously and you don't sort of focus on the outcome of things, it helps you.
I love that. And it segues sort of in my brain to this next question. This is from Jessica McNair from Arkansas. Jessica McNair, what's up?
Hi, Jessica.
You're talking about like sort of mentally coming into a role, and Jessica says that they allowed us to share this struggle with some mental health, and how it's super important to take care of your mental health. Is there anything that you do specifically to kind of keep yourself in that good place, that positive place that you can share with fans?
Snow blowing.
Yeah.
Snow blowing all the time, and I sit on my ride-on lawnmower in the summertime.
Yeah.
Definitely helps.
Everybody's got their own. I love it. We talked with you in a bunch about the lightsaber battles, of course. It's such an important part of the Star Wars films and TV shows, and just the difference in the lightsabers. And Dominic Picarillo, am I saying that right? Or Picarillo? Yeah, sorry. From Fort Myers, Florida, just wants to know, was the choreography difficult in the fighting scenes between you both, and how long did you both train for?
Yeah, I mean they're very elaborate, choreographed fights, and they take a long time to learn because neither you and I are actually trained swordsmen. We're just actors, so. But we took it very seriously, and and we spent, months training. When we were doing the prequels, we'd go to Australia a couple of months before and work with Nick Gillard.
Shout out to Nick.
Shout out to Nick Gillard, the prequels. He just did amazing work. And that was a part of that process that I think I probably enjoyed the most. Just getting to go to work, and you're going to like Jedi training camp.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
And it was just a thrill.
I love that. You had mentioned some raps on the knuckles.
Usually, yeah. We always took a few on the knuckles. But we, they were like badges of honor too. And I don't know if he shared with you, but the lightsabers have changed a lot too. And so back then they were these metal lightsabers. When you got hit on the knuckles, it left a mark. And they would bend and they would get all warped. and it was almost like a bragging point though. Like if we did a fight scene and then one of our sabers was like all crooked, go show it to the other one and be like, hey, look what you did this time.
Can you reveal whose lightsaber was more crooked and more? Yeah.
It was a point of pride, but we traded back and forth. But yeah, I mean, especially that fight on Mustafar, we spent a lot of time training for that. It was something that we knew was coming. We knew there was going to be this big showdown between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Sure.
And we wanted to make it as epic as possible. And so we trained and we got the pacing up, to a really nice place. And then when we got to set, we just, we went from 10 to 11. and yeah, we were really cooking.
I love it. It perfectly segues into this final fan question from Kyle Wade, Fort Myers, Florida. You out there? Kyle Wade. So, if Obi-Wan didn't have the high ground, do you... Kyle, it's not me. If Obi-Wan didn't have the high ground, do you think he still would have beaten Anakin?
No, it was all about the high ground, obviously. That scene there, and I always thought about it, that like in episode 1 when Obi-Wan is fighting Maul. Maul has the high ground. Ewan is down, and he does this amazing over him, cuts him in half. And so I assumed that would have been something that was like, folklore sort of level status, legend status, the Jedi Academy, everyone talked about it, obviously. So then when we got, when I'm confronted with I have the high ground, I'm sure that Anakin was in the back of his head thinking, I'm going to show him. And it didn't work out.
Are you ready to play a fun little game to wrap things up?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Quick note for the text. You don't have to bring it up here. We're just going to stick with Hayden. All right, this or that, and I'll let you know how the audience voted. And all right, this or that. Would you rather live in Cloud City or live in Naboo?
Ooh, well, I've been to Naboo.
Yeah.
Naboo's quite nice. I would go back to Naboo.
Winner was the winner.
Good choice.
Hayden, just Hayden, you're Hayden. You would pick Cloud City. Yeah. Would you rather train under Yoda or train under Obi-Wan? You. Yeah.
Obviously, Obi-Wan.
That was the winner. You're having a birthday party. You can only invite one. R2-D2 or C-3PO? Would you invite?
You always make me choose.
I always make you choose. Scenario. That was a birthday party. So who's going to be the most fun at your birthday party?
I mean, I feel bad for, Anthony Daniels is a real, he's in the suit.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to pick C-3PO.
C-3PO, very nice.
So R2's my guy, right?
R2's there, R2's
I'm not choosing.
Yeah. Would you rather fly an X-Wing or a TIE fighter? You can only choose one.
TIE fighter.
Would you rather be skilled with a lightsaber or skilled with the Force?
Definitely skilled with the Force.
Yeah.
Use Jedi mind tricks or like cool twirly behind your back move. I think. What do you use the Force?
What do you speak of? Would you rather kiss a Wookiee or kiss a Gungan?
I gotta choose.
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna do it, you may as well just go for it, and I'm gonna go for. Yeah, I don't know. See, Jar Jar had that tongue that was like. I'm gonna go with Wookiee.
Wookiee was the winner, and last but not least, who wore their hair better, Obi-Wan or Anakin?
Well, which film are we talking? It really depends on the movie.
Yeah. Well, let's do a quick cheer now for Padawan Braid versus Luscious Locks from Revenge of the Sith. So, Attack of the Clones, Padawan Braid.
We're choosing between
What your Anakin's for? Yeah,
Anakin's Padawan braid and Obi-Wan's
Okay.
look from
Mullet.
mullet. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he wore that mullet really well.
Yeah.
That braid I really liked too. I thought that was, I was a fan of that.
Super cute. So I think the ultimate
Yeah,
winner.
we'll go with the mullet with Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan mullet, but okay, then one more. Obi-Wan mullet versus Revenge of the Sith. Rock hair.
It's like luscious locks.
Luscious Locks.
I'll go with
It's the Luscious Locks.
luscious locks.
Megacon